Russia and Iran have reaffirmed their steadfast support for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad amid a sudden and significant rebel advance in northwestern Syria. As Assad's forces falter, Moscow and Tehran have ramped up military and diplomatic measures, aiming to preserve his regime against growing opposition. This move comes as the rebel swift territorial gains highlight the precarious position of Assad's government. Russian and Syrian warplanes have intensified their aerial bombardment, targeting rebel strongholds in Aleppo, Idlib, and Hama provinces. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, SOHR, reported dozens of casualties, including 13 civilians, 8 of whom were children, near Idlib. These strikes aim to stem the rebel advance, but have also exacerbated the region's humanitarian crisis, with civilian infrastructure taking a significant toll. Despite the increased airstrikes, the rebel forces have continued their offensive, capturing vast swathes of territory in Aleppo and Hama. Their success underscores weaknesses in Assad's military strategy, even with robust support from Russia and Iran. Analysts question whether Moscow and Tehran are prepared to commit ground troops to halt the rebel surge, as their air power alone appears insufficient. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian have called the rebel advance a terrorist aggression and pledged unconditional support for Assad's government, according to the Kremlin. Iran's long-standing backing of Assad includes logistical and military aid, while Russia has been a cornerstone of his survival since 2015. However, with Russia preoccupied by its war in Ukraine and Iran facing regional setbacks, including significant losses suffered by its proxy, Hezbollah, the capacity of these allies to provide further support remains uncertain. Reports from Iraqi officials and armed factions indicate that thousands of pro-Iranian fighters have been stationed along the Iraq-Syria border, ready to intervene if necessary. Meanwhile, Russian airstrikes have intensified, signaling their intent to uphold Assad's regime. However, these measures have yet to reverse the rebels' momentum, raising concerns over the durability of Assad's alliances. The escalation has also displaced Kurdish fighters from parts of Aleppo. Historically adversaries of Turkey, the Kurds have accepted a deal to evacuate to northeastern Syria, where they continue cooperating with U.S. forces against the remnants of the Islamic State. This withdrawal highlights the complex dynamics of Syria's conflict, where shifting alliances and external influences further complicate the situation. As international attention mounts, calls for humanitarian intervention have grown louder. UN agencies report that aid operations in affected areas have been suspended due to the fighting, leaving civilians in dire straits. While Russia and Iran remain critical to Assad's survival, their challenges and limitations suggest that Syria's civil war may be entering another prolonged and bloody chapter, with no clear resolution in sight.